Assalamu alaikum parents, welcome to the part of the AGM which is dedicated to the transformation plan for our school. So let's begin. So what is the transformation plan? And like every year, this aspect of the presentation is exactly the same. But for those of you who have not come to an AGM before, the transformation plan is what drives the school forward. It helps everybody understand within the school what we have to work on and what our priorities are. It highlights the key focus areas for each year. It is the most central document that any school has. It is the document that inspectors look at when they come and arrive and get a picture of the school. It allows us all to know which direction we're going. It supports our ethos and our vision, and it allows everybody to be held to account. So that's the staff, SLT, and parents. So what are our priorities that are highlighted in the transformation plan? So every school has to look at outcomes, teaching and learning and assessment, and leadership and management. And these are also what the inspectors look at for an inspection. So I have tied in what inspectors look at into our transformation plan and actually used those headings and have done for the past 3 years that I have been here. So let's just look at what our priorities are. Priority 1 is to ensure that children acquire new knowledge, that we raise achievement in all subjects, that children make good progress according to their ability, and that more able are challenged. And these were areas that have come up within past inspections for the school. So how are we on our journey, and how are we setting out to achieve this? And as you may know, because staff are contacting parents, every half term I have a tracking meeting with the staff, and we go through each child and see where they are and see where they need to be and what needs to be put in place. And sometimes teachers will phone parents and inform them of their progress and what they need to do at home. And sometimes we put extra provision into the class, or extra provision in terms of like an intervention. Every teacher's performance management is linked to the targets of the school. So each class has their targets that they have to achieve in terms of progress for the pupils, and it's all linked in. And also we are achieving this by ensuring that in each class, the more able provision is being looked at. And now that we have subject leadership, our subject leaders are also looking at ensuring the more able are being pushed. We are also addressing this in staff meetings and ensuring that staff are provided with the training required. Recently, we have conducted a book look for the more able and lesson observations for the more able to see what is actually happening. Priority number 2 is to ensure all teaching is consistently secure in the school, to ensure that differentiation and challenge is consistent, that teaching is fun and practical, and resources are being used to enhance their learning, and that time is being managed productively. Now, this is a really key area, and this is something that has been highlighted in previous inspections, and we are really focusing on that. And priority number 3, we are actually starting to do this a little bit more this year, embedding the foundations for a growth mindset and positive affirmation for all staff at Date Valley and children. We're ensuring that the leaders and the proprietor is consistently meeting the school standards. We're ensuring that monitoring and assessment and tracking of pupils is secure, to ensure that our systems are clear to allow teachers to meet the standards, and to ensure that our performance management cycle feeds into the transformation plan. So what that means is that every member of staff is performance managed. They are set targets. They are provided with a set of areas that they need to achieve by July. And these are reviewed twice a year. So the systems for accounting and assessment and monitoring are well embedded within our school now. We have a process for observations, we have a process for looking at books, we have a process for ensuring that we are meeting the standards that are required. And this has all been embedded through staff training, through performance management, through the rigorous monitoring that we do. So, how are we achieving these things that we have? How are we achieving the priorities? So I have mentioned a couple, but in terms of ensuring that we are meeting the fun and practical lessons, and we are ensuring that our children are engaged in lessons and that they are being challenged, this comes very much from this list below. Staff training and investing in our staff is something we do very well here. We have a schedule of termly training for each member of staff, and the training sessions last an hour on a Thursday, and we have started to also invite external speakers in as well. We also ensure that when a staff training has taken place, that we measure the impact of what has happened after that. We are very pleased to say that this year we have managed to invest in subject leadership, which most schools have. We have been training our leaders to be subject leaders. They have been provided with external courses, and I have been working alongside them to lift their subjects. So currently we have Samira, who is our Year 5 teacher at the moment. She's in charge of literacy. And Safa is our Year 3 teacher, and she is in charge of maths. And our foundation subjects so far are being managed by Aisha, which is for history and geography, and Maha for art and DT. PSHE and science are managed by Tasneem. So slowly, we are embedding a middle leadership layer into our school. And that allows teachers to be held account for the subject teaching that they are doing. These have all been linked to their performance management around the personal targets we set. We've also invested in workshops. Despite COVID, we feel that we have tried our best to continue to be operating as normal as can be. And we have had workshops around DT, which is an area we're trying to develop, and a number of workshops around mental health and ensuring children are able to express themselves, and they're coming ahead as well. We've started doing our trips, so our first set of trips will be in the spring term, which is coming up. And we've had some very successful themed weeks, which allow children to come away from routine and also allow the teachers to go into depth into some of the areas that we feel we need to address at school. So we've had a really good Mother Tongue Day recently, which links into our diversity focus. Our World Book Day was very successful. And we've had a number of repeated days, such as our Anti-Bullying Day, and we have a Number Day coming up, which is the first time we've done that. So these are all to ensure that we are enhancing and enriching our curriculum. In terms of ensuring that lessons are consistently at the secure standard, we have leadership dropping in. So that's myself and Tasneem. And in addition to that, we have now our subject leaders who are also dropping in to see their subject being taught. So it raises the profile of the monitoring that we are doing. We also have school focus areas that all staff are aware of, and you as parents would be aware of this when you had your meeting, your beginning meetings. So there was your Meet the Teacher meetings. The first couple of slides would have been around the whole school focus. The whole school focus also is featured in our newsletters. So that's to ensure that everybody is in communication, has clear communication about what we're doing. And actually talking about newsletters, our newsletters reflect our whole school focus areas, but also what we are doing within the school. And that helps you to ensure that the bridge between school and home is firm and is secure. So do take a moment to read our newsletters and see what we're up to and what our focus areas are and what you can do at home. So here are our school focus areas. These have been outlined, as previously mentioned, in our Meet the Teacher meetings at the beginning of the year. But I would like to refresh you. These have come about from looking at what the school needs, reading past inspections, and working to improve these areas, which is a long-term plan. It doesn't happen within a year. It takes a good 3 to 5 years to actually move in the direction within these areas that we would like to. So handwriting has been a big focus, and we have been very successful in improving handwriting. And at the moment, we are in the stage we are monitoring this process and ensuring that the children are meeting their points of where they should be. For example, we do aim that all children are joining by the age of year 6. And actually, by the time they complete year 3, we should literally have 50% of them doing that and forming their letters in the correct way. Spelling has been a big focus for 2 years so far. And this year we are raising the profile with having spelling bees, which are coming up, and ensuring that staff and children and parents are using a consistent method for spellings. There will be a video coming out just to refresh people about that. But the big thing with spelling is for their spelling tests, they are coming out with 10 out of 10 or whatever it is. However, this isn't transposing, this isn't transferring to the independent writing that they do. And so that's the bridge we're trying to make. For writing, we have been on a big journey to develop language and sentence structures and that stamina for writing. So it's our first year of using a scheme called the Power of Reading. And the Power of Reading is really good to support dialogue, conversation, and role play, and understanding the text before writing. So a lot of time is spent immersing the children in the text, getting them to understand the text and feel the text before writing. And we have seen a really good progress within the development of language. We're still working on reading for pleasure, and our comprehension is the area we need to develop. And that's what our data tells us from our tracking meetings. And I think that the Power of Reading has supported this, but we are still at the point where our children are reading fluently. However, understanding the text is now still an area to develop. We want to focus on Quran reading to ensure children and parents understand the importance of reading at home, reading and practicing reading. There's a lot of focus given to Quran Hifz, which is also important, but equally Quran reading needs to be given a focus at home, and we're finding that it's not consistently taking place. We have put in extra provision for reading for the children who are not performing well, and also for the children who are performing well. So we have that extra provision. And now we are finding that that impact for that provision has been great. However, with the children who are not reading at home consistently, we can see they are making slower progress in comparison to their peers. We're developing our maths language and development of manipulatives. So ensuring that children are able to converse about their maths, explain their thinking, and show their working out. And ensuring that children are using objects and using things to help them with their maths, regardless of whether they are bright or whether they are low ability. It's actually a really good tool for deepening their understanding of maths. We're working on our problem solving and our reasoning skills, and to develop our speaking and listening and debating skills, we are focusing on philosophy for children, allowing children to have the voice in group discussions, sharing their opinions, and understanding that you can disagree with someone's view but still be their friend. And the good thing about philosophy children, it links in with our power of reading very well and supports the focus of speaking and listening. So we have a number of ways and tools and strategies that we are using within our curriculum to develop good language structures, good sentence structures, and clear, audible, clear speaking. So the power of reading and our philosophy for children really go hand in hand together. So going back to our priority 2 and just underlining a few more areas as to how we are achieving the teaching and the learning and the assessment. And I have mentioned that we have teacher and leadership drop-ins, which are additional to formal observations, which is something I previously talked about. So what that means is within this school, we have our teachers being dropped in at and by leadership, middle leadership, or other members of staff regularly. So this allows them to feel that when there is an inspection, it won't face them. And it allows us to ensure that consistently on a day-to-day running, we are monitoring what is happening within the classrooms. We've really raised the profile of training and development this year. I think with the COVID and the gap within the children that we are seeing, we've had to really think about fine-tuning our training from general to making it more specific. And so we've had some really good training on writing, on reading, on spelling, on editing work and publishing. Further training that we're going to also have is about making judgments on children's writing. So our training has been really good, and it's been actually been led by our leaders rather than myself. And they have taken training externally and then brought that into the school. We've continued with our workshops. We have a yearly cycle of workshops that we have tried to ensure we're involving parents into our whole school focus. So the workshops that we have provided link into the whole school focus areas that we are trying to focus on. I've mentioned mini activities and initiatives and themed day challenges, and I've mentioned already monitoring of books, and we've mentioned subject leadership. So these are all the things that we are doing and very much building upon and embedding each year as we commence. So also what I wanted to really focus on is behind the scenes this year, I have really tried to make links with other schools. So both our subject leaders are going to a local school in our area to support their subject leadership, which is really good. So we've had our leaders go out to see how other schools are managing their subjects. We've also had a number of teachers go to see other members of the other schools, staff members in other schools teach their year groups. And we have continued that cycle to ensuring that they're getting out to seeing other schools as well as observing themselves. We've had a number of internal observations take place in areas such as questioning and differentiation, supporting the special needs and more able challenging. So we've divided our peer observations within the school around subject areas. So we've looked at a lot of what the teaching and the subject knowledge and understanding and how we're engaging lessons. through our themed days, etc. And now I wanted to just end this section of the presentation of how we support children to be confident and independent, because before we embed the academics, I'm a firm believer of ensuring that their mental health and their character is being built upon. And we have really tried hard to look at this. Despite the disruptions with COVID, we're forever looking at that aspect of the child. So in addition to all the systems we already have in place, we have embarked on a journey of journaling. Research shows that writing consistently in a journal provides the children with an avenue to express themselves if they don't feel confident to express themselves verbally. And so 3 times a week, all our children are journaling. And we're finding that this is really helping to express themselves and also allowing teachers to find out issues that they're thinking about that they may not have conveyed. So that's been really successful so far. We also have raised the profile of our learning friends to support the learning behaviours that we want to embed. And the journaling is actually links into the learning behaviours, because within the journals, there are a number of powers that they need to look at and focus at. For example, the power of introspection, the power of a growth mindset, the power of making mistakes is good, the power of empathy. So each section of the journal has areas that allows a child to become confident and independent. And these skills tie in to our learning friends. So each half term, we're focusing on a different learning friend. And within the term, that learning friend is high profiled with all the staff, how they speak to the children, what they do in class, and they refer to the learning friends. And in addition to that, golden tea time and assemblies are all geared towards children understanding these areas of the learning friends they need to develop. So at the moment, we have Imtihaj Muhammad, who is a learning friend, or there's Tommy the Tortoise. And both of these learning friends promote risk-taking, working hard, being independent, not getting distracted. But sometimes our children don't know what this actually looks like. So this is what we're focusing on, and it's really working. It's really helping our children understand what learning behaviours they need to have to be a successful learner. We will also be embarking on a Feel It pilot programme, which is run by that same company as the journaling, the Happy Confident company. They're going to come and help us run this programme in the summer too. And we are also getting play therapy training for our staff. And we are linking with our local special needs school called Cricket Green on play therapy, as it's a very powerful tool to support children. Okay, so we've described all the whole school focus areas. And now I want to talk about impact, because some of the systems that we've had have been running for a while, and some of them are in their infant stages. So handwriting, we have been running with this focus for now 2 years. Even though we've been disrupted by COVID, we've tried to keep it high profiled. And we've looked at the handwriting within the school, we've monitored lessons, and we've checked that all staff have the accurate training. And we are finding that steadily and slowly our handwriting is improving and our presentation is much better. The power of reading is in its infant stages, as previously mentioned, and teachers are already saying that the language development is there. The language that our children are writing about and speaking about is definitely improved. And recently our Year 2 teacher went to a borough moderation for Year 2, and we found that our books mirror the language development that is taking place within other schools in the borough. So that's really, really good to hear. Now what we need to look at is our stamina for writing. Our children need to be writing more. And that's something which is a gradual process. And I think that as the scheme is embedded further, this will come. But we are encouraging our children to write more. And that's something that then allows them to become greater depth writers. And I think because the scheme has an emphasis on speaking and listening and understanding the text, this stamina for writing and language development will improve as years go by. So we have been on this journey for raising the profile of reading, and yet we still have children not reading at home consistently. So what we have identified is it is definitely an issue at home. And if our children are reading at home, then we are seeing that there is a good improvement in results. For the children who are not reading at home, they are not performing where they should be. So actually, within this presentation, I would like to stress that reading consistently at home is really important. And it should not be a chore. It should be something that is an enjoyable experience. And it's not just about reading the books we give at school. It's about reading a range of reading material. And it's about reading it a couple of times, not just reading it once. And it's about actually understanding what you're reading by questioning the child. And our teachers have been providing all year groups with question stems and comprehensions and reading challenges. And it's all to support the understanding of texts. And it's also important to note that if you are reading high quality books and not books that are too easy for the children or have not got the right language in it, then that's an area you need to look at. Otherwise, a child's writing won't develop. Okay. So we are also trying to create a culture for reading, a pleasure for reading. And that's really important. And in the reading workshop that will be commencing quite soon, I will go over that as well. This year, we've had some really lovely reading challenges that have been successfully received, and children have taken them up. We have buddy reading, so our children read internally in different year groups. And again, we've had our recommended reading lists for parents, which are available on the website. And these are to support parents make right choices for their books. As we've said, the power of reading has supported our language, and the fact that the text for each story that they look at or each area they look at, the text is definitely high quality, and there is lots of opportunity for speaking and listening and revisiting concepts of writing. So it's not just looked at once, it's revisited literally 4 or 5 times within the half term. And so that's where the power of reading has really supported our children with the foundations of writing. Philosophy for Children has now been implemented on and off due to COVID for 2 years. And I feel that this year we have fully embraced a consistent philosophy for children approach. Our teachers have received 3 training sessions on it so far, and the importance of it, children expressing their ideas and being a caring thinker and understanding it's okay to disagree has been a big learning curve for them. And when they talk now, they are really thinking about their language structures and making sure they answer in full sentences. So I feel that the impact for this is still yet to come. However, we are seeing little small steps of progress. What we hope to see that it actually supports their mathematics and English, because research by the Educational Endowment Foundation says that with regular philosophy sessions, you can increase the attainment levels by 2.5 months within the core areas. So that's what we're aiming for. So we've talked about our whole school focus areas and what we've been doing in terms of how we've supported the focus areas that have been outlined in the transformation plan. But I would like to talk about other success stories that we've had during the year, which we have every year. And due to the disruption of COVID, I wanted to just quickly go over them. I feel that our assemblies have a strong Islamic focus with a focus on building character. So we start off each week with an assembly and a focus area, and then our dialogue and what we remind the children for throughout the week is embedded, and it's really, really supporting structure for the children. As I've mentioned, our learning friends, we've raised the profile of these, even though they've been in operation for 2 years. We've really focused on them, and I feel that has really benefited the children, and we're able to refer to these during the day to support the children to make the right decisions. And recently we also sent out things to support that learning at home. So please do use the learning friends to support you at home when you are talking to your children. We continue to have a range of interesting and educational visitors coming into the school, and we have a number of those coming up for you soon. We've continued to run successful workshops. I feel that since we've been online, we've had a really good uptake, which is really good. Despite the disruptions, our PTFC have been working really hard and have had some really successful events within the restrictions of COVID. So hopefully now that they are lifted, we will see these two areas flourish even more. I feel we have a really good tracking system now for children. And once we have tracked the children, our teachers are now very conscious about informing parents of their progress and actually providing the ownership on parents of what they can do as well to support their child's learning. I feel that we have promoted the culture of pleasure of reading, and we're continuing to do that. But I feel that the children are really happy about reading, and we are ensuring that that pleasure for reading is coming through. Subject leadership, as I've mentioned, and visiting other schools, that's definitely a success. We are building links and we are becoming confident practitioners because we're able to see what other schools are doing, take ideas from them, but also know that actually we are on the right journey and we are doing well. I feel that this journaling that we've taken up has really supported the children emotionally, and we've seen some lovely case stories around some of our children who have expressed themselves who wouldn't normally, who are very shy and quiet children. So that's been really good. We've been promoting being a healthy school through various workshops and lunchtime provision. And I feel that slowly, we're layering that importance of being a healthy school. Coming up, we have our big wheel focus linked in with our eco warriors. So bit by bit, we are focusing on becoming a healthy school in all aspects, physically and what we eat and how we think. So the confident journaling supports a healthy mind. We have healthy eating workshops and the provision at lunchtime with our certificates to help healthy eating and a healthy body. We're working on initiatives with the Stada Mariam and the initiative that's going to come in the summer called the Daily Mile to help our body from the outside. So triangulating all of those things allows each and every Date Valley child to be healthy. This year, we've introduced a new school letter run by the children, which comes out. We've had one issue out so far, but that's been really good. And the children have enjoyed reading that, and it's extended our children in terms of their writing. I feel each year we've layered our diversity focus We've had Say No to Racism Days. We've had our anti-bullying. We've looked at who we are and being unique through our journaling. We've also had our recent Mother Tongue Day, which was fantastic to learn about different languages and to contribute to knowing who we are and where we come from. So there are some of the things we've been doing, although we are in March, so there's loads more we will be doing. Here are some of the things that we have been doing. And now talking about the future. And some of these things we will continue to do. For example, we will always continue to develop staff training. We will continue to measure the impact of the Power of Reading scheme to ensure that we are getting the most out of it. We will continue to measure the impact of our handwriting. We will continue to invest further training and resources in comprehension and language development, because that is the area we still need to move on. Forest Schools has been a future vision for a number of years, and due to COVID and due to the extra work that COVID has taken place within the school because of it, Forest Schools has been something which we do need to look at. So that's definitely going to be a focus for the future. Philosophy for children is still something we need to develop, and we're in our early stages. So we're going to be fine-tuning our sessions around that. There will be 4 thinker areas the children need to develop: a caring thinker, creative thinker, a critical thinker, and a collaborative thinker. So this whole term, we've been looking at caring thinker. So in order to see the progression within children's skills, we need to encounter all thinkers. So that's something that will be very much part of our future. We are going to be investing in physical development in terms of more resources and provision. And an example of that is the Daily Mile, which I have recommended. I have spoken about play therapy and mental health support for children, because the effect that COVID has had on our children is an area which we need to support the school in. And the provision that we have needs to be enhanced and developed. So play therapy is a provision that I'm hoping in the future we actually have on site. But first of all, we'll need to be able to train people on that. I would like to start thinking about parenting courses, not only in academics, but also in the soft skills of parenting, because we are seeing that that has a major effect on how they are as learners. So we're going to be thinking about the type of courses that we offer, and they will be long-term courses, and there will be running for about 12 weeks on a range of topics. We want to develop the early years in terms of language and communication. So we want to start doing things like making story sacks and building the understanding of language within the setting, which we've already started doing. So that's more of a developmental thing. So here are some of the things that we have visions for. Okay, that brings me to the end of the section of the transformation plan. I hope that's been informative. And if you do have any questions around the transformation plan, the direction of the school, please do contact me on my email. Be aware that the information today that I have shared with you is so that we can transform ourselves into butterflies. And the process takes a long time. But if we build our partnerships with parents, then we are on a journey to being successful. Assalamu alaikum, parents. Thank you for listening.